So this man's like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And he plugs it up, and all of a sudden I just hear through the whole room. And then all of a sudden I just hear Tyler kind of be like, I'm so sorry. He looked over to Alan. Alan had like woke up. He was like, come on, man.
Yeah. And welcome back to Together Talks podcast. It's been a little while. We've been off for about a month, maybe two. Excited to be back in the studio. My name is Joshua Pugh. Sitting to my left, your right, hailing from Monroeville, Alabama, Excel's very own Hagen Carter Harrison.
What's up, everyone?
What's up, Hagen?
Glad to be
Doing
back.
well?
Yeah.
I'm excited to be
You
back.
switched it up and actually asking me questions in the intro.
I know. Here we go. And on the AV, hailing from Columbus, Georgia, the owner and CEO of Brad Smith Media. Give it up for Philip Bradley Smith, everybody. Shout out to Brad.
I need to get one of them
Shout out
soundboard
to
things.
Brad.
Shout out. Do that.
And today, oh my goodness, do we have the honor, the privilege of having Mount Vernon and the Lightroom's very own, the Tyler Gavin. Tyler Gavin Harper. Everybody give it up for Harper.
Thank y'all.
What up?
Pumped to be here.
Yeah, man.
Got to know y'all the past week at Atlanta. So
Yeah. We had a
pumped
good
about
time.
being on here, for real.
Yeah, well, we'll kind of get into it, man. One thing we kind of ask everybody that comes on, just as a general question of interest, you know, it's this Together podcast, and obviously ministry-related stuff, but just kind of want to hear about your church history, your church background.
Amen.
I thought you were saying, hey, let's take a break or something.
Yeah, I thought so.
All right,
Amen.
anyway.
You gotta have a good amen corner.
That's right.
You gotta.
Okay, yeah.
Amen.
We live for that.
Just kind of threw me off there for a second.
Carry on. I'm really excited to be back.
It has been a
We
while.
got
Yeah.
that, Brad.
It's been a little while.
It has.
It's been a minute.
Back in the swing of things. But now I just want to hear about your church history, man. Did you grow up in church? How'd you kind of get to where you're at in life now? What's that all look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, I was in church my whole life. When my mom was pregnant with me, she was in church.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a small Baptist church out in Wayne County.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah,
There it
Wayne
is.
County. Shout out to Wayne County.
Shout out to Wayne County.
We were, we were in church, and I was in church. I was about 8 years old, and some drama happened within the church. Church split, and some people left, and a lot of church hurt happened within my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of in and out of church for a while. I was about 16, and that's when I went to Mount Vernon. I met Shai. We went to Mount Vernon then. I was involved with the youth group there. So I've been at Mount Vernon ever since. I went to college, and I was out of church for a little bit because I was away from home. Didn't really have nowhere to go. So Mississippi Delta, nowhere up there if you've ever been there. Just cornfields. But came back from Mississippi Delta during COVID, and I got plugged in a leadership role at Mount Vernon, helping out with Cade, and it's just been, the rest is history ever since. So
Thank goodness for that history, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Very
Shout out
true.
to Cade Pierce,
shout out Cade, my boy.
the Lightroom.
Now, you mentioned somebody, she's not here.
Yeah.
She's not.
We want
not.
her here, but she's not here. Shay. Now,
Shay.
tell the people who Shay is.
Shay is my beautiful, wonderful girlfriend.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she's
There he
gonna
is.
get blushed up listening to me talk to her like that. But
I'm blushing. Oh my
I
god.
know I am too.
Made me feel a certain type of way.
Yeah, but yeah, Shay's my girlfriend. We've been together since end of my 9th grade year into her 8th grade year, so for 6 years
Oh,
now.
I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah.
Longer than Hagen and Clint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, really.
And that's
I
the
mean,
thing. People were like,
It is.
how long y'all been dating? We're like, like 6 years, 6.5. They're like, y'all aren't married yet? I'm like, well, we've been together since like we could walk.
Yeah.
Like we were learning how to talk,
Yeah.
Exaggeration. But yeah, we've been together 6 years, beginning of high school. So
That's crazy. I
It
thought
is.
y'all were together. I thought y'all only been together like a year or two, maybe.
Nah, it's 6 years, dude.
That's
it's
wild.
It's crazy. Didn't know when I slid in her DMs. That's how I met her. I slid in her DMs, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah.
Teach the next generation.
Yeah,
how
yeah,
stories
yeah,
are.
What's crazy is I put it, to be honest, on my on my Instagram, you know how we used to do this back then. She liked it. I was like, to be honest, you know, you cool. Slid in those DMs real smooth. I had it planned out.
Okay.
And the rest is history with that too. Thank the Lord for that history.
Worked out
That
good.
is great.
Yeah.
Dude, TBHs were game changers back then.
Hey, what is
that can
TBH?
elevate
Yeah.
you. Do you know about TBHs, Brad?
Is that where you just type TBH?
Okay.
Kind of.
So we used to have these things on Instagram when we were in like middle school where it'd be like for a TBH. And all that means is when you like that, somebody's got to give a very honest opinion of you. So like if you were to like it, Brad, I'd be like, to be honest, you the homie. You one of the goats. Bro, you the realest. And apparently Tyler over here was using it to talk to Shai at a young age and say, hey, to be honest, you the one, girl.
The one I won in my life.
I mean,
I love that.
it worked out.
Dude, that is
it worked
wild.
out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
That's crazy, dude.
it is wild.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah.
We could
Shai,
talk about that
years.
for like 25 more
I'm
minutes.
telling you, right?
as
Yeah.
long
Dude,
as-
Shai is awesome though. Wish she could have been on here with us. I've known her for I guess 2 or 3 years now. I
Yeah.
think the first time I met her was at Life Church we had some kind of student ministry event there. Like my first year here. But as long as I've known her, she's always been real solid. So
Mhm, yeah.
you better keep her around, man.
Dude, I'm telling you,
You're
if I
very
could say
blessed with
something
that
about her real quick, she is a vital role in our ministry at the Lightroom.
Mhm.
Like, in my individual ministry, when I'm down and feeling discouraged, she's there to pick me up and just, you know, speak life into me. So I couldn't do ministry without her. So
Yeah.
she's very appreciative to me, and I know the students and the leadership at Mount Vernon and the whole church. So she's awesome. She's a rock star.
That's cool, man.
Shout out to Shai.
Shout
out to Shai.
I don't know
Man
which.
knows what to say.
That's it.
Oh,
Dropping bars.
Watch
Well, man,
out.
speaking of your leadership role at Mount Vernon, you've recently been brought into a new role, a new position there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so recently I've come on board as a middle school pastor. So
Let's
what we're gonna
go.
Let's go.
it's lit. It's crazy to think about. I'm young and it's like, oh snap, here it is. But it's so exciting. It's nerve wracking, but kind of how it came about. I found out about it. You know, that night we met here for right after together talking about the future events. Kay said he needed to talk to me. We met that morning and he kind of told me what's going on. And man, it's just. It went by so quick. It feels like it's been going on forever, knowing about it, and now people are starting to know about it. But so, yeah, I'm sliding into the middle school pastor role, like I said. And so kind of the idea is we're going to be moving up 6th graders and in January of this coming year and from
Nice.
here on out. And because a lot of the 6th graders, you know, they're kind of still immature starting out in their 6th grade year until about Christmas. They start thinking, you know, they're too cool for school and around those little kindergartners, stuff like that. And I think it was kind of becoming a problem. They weren't really want to participate. And so the church kind of decided, you know, hey, let's move up the 6th graders around January. So my job is going to be, I'm still working underneath Kay. We're going to be doing the services together still on Wednesday nights. And so like my job is to be there to, you know, shepherd those 6th through 8th graders.
Yeah.
And I'm pumped because those 6th, 8th graders, they have so much zeal. They don't care what anyone thinks. They're just like, man, God, I'm going all in. And it's just so cool. And it's such a vulnerable age to be able to minister to them, to point them in the right direction where I was at that age thinking, you know, trying to just go along to get along with people and instead of just, you know, following God in that sense. So I'm really pumped about it. So yeah, my job's just gonna be those 6th to 8th graders and I get to go to staff meetings at church. I'm officially on staff and Brother Davey, he's letting me, you know, come on with, like I said, with the staff meetings to one day to see how to run a staff, you know, how to lead those meetings. Because one day, Lord willing, I'll be pastoring the church. So yeah, that's kind of the job I'm going to be doing. Me and Kate have to sit down still, kind of hash out some things, and kind of help Kate out. I know he didn't want to put too much on my plate because I wasn't getting paid, and he would kind of felt bad for asking. So I know now it'll be good for him. Like, hey, can you do this? And he'll be like, no problem, bro.
Load you up,
Man, but man, I'm so thankful for Cade and Brother Davey. I wouldn't be here without those two guys, man. Those guys are awesome for pouring into me, and super thankful for those guys.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for real.
Thank you.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine you doing anything else, like any other position. I can't imagine you. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like Tyler's one of those dudes is like, you don't realize how
awesome?
effective, how awesome,
yeah.
how much of a role he plays at the Lightroom until you step back and you're like, man, Tyler is like a G with this thing. Like, we got to watch you in Atlanta, and just, I want you to know, those kids at the Lightroom, and even our kids here at Agape, love you, bro. Love you. They look up to you. They listen to you. That's a huge one. If they'll sit down and you're like, hey, quit acting like a fool, and they quit acting like a fool, that's incredible, bro. Like, those kids flock to you, man. So I'm
Appreciate
just
it, man.
the honor you're getting and just being able to execute that role better. It's incredible.
Man,
That age
appreciate that.
too, their minds, and those kids are so, I guess, eager, and they're just ready to be shaped. So that role that you're gonna play is pretty crucial. It's like,
Yeah, no
'cause I
pressure,
remember,
man.
I think it's a good move. You're 6th grade is like you said, they're just not feeling like they're a kid or whatever. So moving them up, and you'll have the opportunity to really kind of shape them up, man. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm pumped
Really
about it.
good.
Another cool thing about it is, like, me and Cade saw this happen, kind of manifest itself this year. Me and him coached the junior high baseball team. We helped coach it, assistant coach it. And I'm going to be doing that again. And that's 7th and 8th graders, maybe some 9th graders. But I got to coach this summer, like a summer league team. It's called Northeast. And there was 16 players on that team. And I counted one day at practice. 9 of them come to the Lightroom on Wednesday nights. And I was like, man, like, that's just so cool, like middle school guys, like, that's going to be my job to shepherd them and also be there with them on the baseball field. And they're like, hey, the baseball field is still a place to live for the Lord, not just here at the Lightroom on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
And it's just there to kind of be an accountability partner with them, to kind of be there with them on the baseball field and at the church with them. So I'm pumped about it, man.
That's super cool.
That's incredible.
Has this been like officially announced to the people yet, or?
Well, me and Pastor Davey sat down yesterday, and it's kind of like official. I go to Tuesday to a staff meeting to sign some papers, but on Move Up Sunday, he said we're going to like officially announce it to the church.
Okay.
But he said like yesterday it's like official.
Okay, I was just making sure, 'cause
yeah.
I know we talked about it yesterday
yeah.
about making sure that it was going to be official before we just talked about it.
Making sure we weren't
Before
going to
this
have to
gets
restart this podcast.
Uploaded,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I talked to him about it yesterday. I texted him.
yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
cool,
it's
man.
cool, man.
What about, so it's not just, you're not just an extra body at Mount Vernon that's like just filling this role, but you've actually had a call to ministry.
Yeah.
Tell us about what that was, because I know, after what I've heard, and it'll kind of lead us into the Atlanta mission trip.
Yeah.
Just kind of share with us about, how you got your call to ministry and really how you have continued to grow into the place that you're at today.
Yeah, sure. So, honestly, I wish I could have recognized it earlier. I wish I could have, like I said, recognized what God was doing earlier in my life. It kind of goes back to the baseball field. I was playing baseball through high school, and, I had people always kind of tell me I was a good leader, and people kind of attracted to me, and I just kind of ignored it. I'd kind of push it away, just kind of like, kind of everyone gets told that by their family or maybe some close friends, and I was like, whatever. And even teammates' parents would come up to me and tell me how much their kids, looked up to me. And like I said, I just kind of ignored it. And so when I really got plugged into the Lightroom, I started kind of noticing that God had gifted me in a way to be able to minister, to be able to speak life into kids, to be able to kind of teach, to be able to teach and to preach. And I ignored it in a way, just kind of like, I don't know, that's kind of weird. Kept it to myself, kind of crossed my mind. But man, then we went to Atlanta, like you said, like we did this year, and I vividly got to see what it was like to love people genuinely, no matter what they look like, to spread the gospel to people, like no matter what they look like, no matter their past, to just genuinely love people and to shepherd people. And I felt the Lord really called me to ministry that week, and I kind of even then kind of still put it down, and I was just overwhelmed about it after that trip. And I went home, prayed about it, and I surrendered to ministry about a year ago now, I guess you could say. So I guess the Lord, he'd been kind of wooing me for a while to come into ministry on the baseball field and enhance me with leadership abilities. And once I got plugged into a church and exercising those spiritual gifts, it really manifested itself. And thinking about it now, Kate actually asked me to preach on my first time to ever preach on when we got back from the mission trip. And it was the Move Up Wednesday, and I got to preach. And that I think really is when it solidified my call to pastor and preach, just because it was just like I felt the Spirit so near to me in that time where I felt nervous, I felt anxious, I felt, God, I can't do this. If you don't move, this is going to be a disaster. Like, if you don't speak through me, this is going to be awful. And thankfully he did, and it was just an awesome night. And that's really when it was like, boom, I've called you to do this. Now will you trust me now? And it's still scary. It's still me doubting at times and stuff like that. But man, I know that he's called me to ministry, and I just have this inner tug in me all the time. If I decide to not do that and to use ministry somewhere else and not in a pastoral role, that I'd be being disobedient to God. And a lot of people don't understand that, and that's okay. But I do, and God does. So that's all that matters.
Dude, that's so cool. I told Cade, I think, or maybe it was Josh, when we were in Atlanta this past week. I was like, dude, the more I hang around Tyler, the more I like that dude. You're a solid man.
You can't not like him, man.
Yeah. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, he's preaching. He's sitting right here preaching. And I'm like, come on.
We got to hear you Sunday, this past Sunday, man, for the first time. And I mean, I looked over at Joe. We were kind of in the back. I looked over. It's like, bro, why's Tyler bringing such fire right now? Like, this dude
it was incredible, man.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Man, thank y'all so much.
I'm looking forward to the worship night in October. I don't know if we've announced that yet.
We haven't. But it is going to happen, though.
But yeah, so if you're watching this, something to look forward to. And just
we
keep
don't
it
know
secret.
when.
But
sometime.
But I'm looking forward to hearing you again, man. Let's talk about Atlanta for a little bit.
Let's do it.
ATL.
I feel like we don't have enough time. Like, I feel like we need like 30 more minutes to talk about Atlanta.
Share y'all's thoughts on it. What was your favorite part about it, Josh? Or maybe just talk about it. I don't know.
Let's just talk about it. Tell me about it. I
Share
wasn't
the
there.
experience.
Tell
Yeah,
me
Brad
about
wants
it,
to
man.
know.
I think, I've been telling everybody this. So to those of you who don't know, are like, what are you talking about Atlanta? We all, me, Tyler, Hagen, Cade, Darren, our boy Alan, the first together
Shout out to
grandpa.
Alan.
She'll meet
Alan.
eventually. We're going to have, I already am confirming, we're going to have Alan on this podcast.
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
We need to do
we
that.
all,
Alan's the man.
yes, man. We all went to Atlanta this past week and got to serve with the Atlanta Dream Center Church, which is an organization and a church in Atlanta that just goes out to serve the needs of people who don't live life like we do, truthfully, people who are in these homeless communities, people who are addicted to drugs, people who are on the streets, caught in human trafficking, in active prostitution. We got the opportunity this week to take a few of our students to Atlanta, be able to serve with Atlanta Dream Center Church, and Pastor Clarence and Pastor Paul, Pastor Tommy, Pastor Josh, all these amazing champions and leaders of the faith. And we just had the incredible opportunity to be able to show Jesus to people who arguably need him the most, people who are at their lowest and people who just are running out of hope.
Yeah.
And I've been telling everybody this, and then I'm going to pass this off to whoever, but it's been really cool to watch teenagers, like young people, have this little two-step reaction where initially they walk out and like the initial shock of what they're doing sets in, and they almost get like uncomfortable, and then they assess the situation and immediately realize like, I'm here to give the good news, the hope of Jesus to these people, and immediately they lock in and become the hands and feet of Jesus, serving God's people. And it was absolutely incredible to watch those students, and then also to watch them just grow. We had 3 different churches represented, and I feel like we had just one body of Christ, honestly. And to be able to do that, it's just was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I like you said, like it felt like one big youth group there, and it was so cool. You see these students, they come in with their friend from their church, locked shoulder to shoulder, coming in, and by 2 days in, they're not with that friend anymore. They're with somebody from Atlanta. They're with somebody from Agape. And it's like, did you come here with them? How long have you known them? And it's just sitting there. They're praying with each other. They're crying with each other. They're out evangelizing with each other. And it was just like the heart of together. You guys have planted and tried to, and you have done such a great job with it. It truly manifested itself. And I felt like it was like, man, here we are. We're many different members, as Paul would say, but we're all one in Christ, you know. And it was just so cool to see that, and it really warmed my heart, and to see all of the leaders grow, all of the leaders from Atlanta and from Mississippi to grow together and to share the gospel with us. It was really cool to see, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think I've talked about this a lot, and I agree completely. Just the unity that was there, you know, kind of like what you said, man. We came there as 3 groups, and everybody kind of had their little friend, but by the end of it, I mean, we were all just, you know, one, and it was awesome. I think back to just some of the stuff we've done, and kind of what you said earlier about this group of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, like they just don't care. I remember, man, when we were on the subway doing the train evangelism, the cart that I was on, the little 12 and 13-year-old Piper McKinley, the little girls, like this, I mean, big old questionable looking guy walks on, and they kind of just walk past me. I'm like, where y'all going? They're like, we're going to go talk to this guy. I'm like, all right, hold on. Don't go by yourself, all right? Like, they saw a guy walk on that they wanted to share the love of Jesus with, and they just went for it.
Come on.
And it's just like, to see that in the younger generation, man, just does my heart good. Because there tends to be this, you know, as we get older, we start to care more about what people think about us. And we start to be more self-conscious about, you know, the things we do and the things we say. And if we could just continue to stay like that 12 and 13-year-old, like what they did, just, and not just them, but the rest of the kids, just kind of like what Josh says, just understand the initial shock of like what's going on, but understand that like this is people's souls, like their eternity that we're dealing with. And regardless of how shocked or uncomfortable I might be, I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
And I wish more people like us and adults and even older teenagers had that mentality.
Yeah.
So it was just encouraging to see that throughout the trip with the students. So
you got ready to preach a sermon right there, didn't you?
Yeah,
bro?
I got to calm down a little bit.
Right there. I feel you.
I did, yeah.
I'm about to run around this room real quick, man.
I'm ready to run through a wall.
We got it. We got it.
Oh, gosh.
We were in Brad's home state of Georgia.
Georgia.
Good old
Georgia dogs.
Georgia.
Roll Tide.
That's a whole other.
That's
a whole other topic. I'm just gonna look this way for
Okay. Sorry,
talk
man.
to the door. But I love what Tyler said. It was a manifestation of what we've been dreaming of for together. And you know, we've had 2 conferences now. We've had Night of Worship, had plenty of community groups and plenty of different activities as together. I think the mission trip was probably the concrete evidence that like whatever is happening in Jones County or whatever is happening honestly in the church, the capital C church, churches all around the world, is just the pride of the Father to come together, the heart of the Father to come together, have one united church. It was so evident this past week, and it was incredible to get to see. Yeah, I wish we were there right now, honestly.
I do too.
I wish Clarence was sitting right here, and David, and all those folks.
Shout out to David, dude.
Shout out
His
to my boy
laugh-
David.
His
Bro!
laugh, it's excellent. Like, you can hear it from a mile away.
And he's 30 years old.
Yeah, he looks 18.
He looks
Tell
like
you
a
what,
baby.
man, he's put Big Bertha through it. That Tahoe.
Let me tell
I
you.
drove it that Sunday morning to go to breakfast. Boy, that thing has seen better days. Let me tell you.
Me and David wore out the streets of Atlanta with those kids and Big Bertha. Oh my goodness, Big Bertha is a
Bertha.
vehicle.
Yeah,
it's a vehicle.
not a
It's not a person. It's
Yeah.
a vehicle. But it got wore out this past week. Oh my goodness, did it?
Man, I tell you what I loved, what Clarence said that on the prayer walk, that what day we get there?
The first day we got there. I think,
Wednesday,
wasn't
wasn't
it?
it? Yeah, Wednesday. We got there that Wednesday, and we were sitting there, and he was kind of telling us about the week and all the different types of people in Atlanta. And he accidentally said these people, but he called himself and was like, I don't want to say these people like they're distinct from us. And it was just like, man, we tend to think sometimes that we deserve the gospel more than other people do. Like that our sin is somehow not as severe as their sin against God. And when we look at it from that way, that we've all fallen short of the glory of God. There's no one righteous before him. And it's like our only hope is in Jesus. And no matter if you're homeless, no matter if you're in prostitution, no matter if you said a little bitty white lie or a cuss word, it's just like we've all fallen short, and we all are in desperate need of the gospel. We're all in desperate need of Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just so... that caught my eye, because we can tend to say that sometimes, like these people, but we tend to forget sometimes that, they're no different than us in the sight of God. He created them in their mother's womb, just as he created us. We all are created in his image. We're all image bearers of him. And I felt like that was just truly manifested this week, to see that we're, no matter, our situations are different, but we're all in need of hope in Jesus. And it was that just caught my, that convicted me when he said that. So.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Because I don't think
really
I caught
good.
that the first day. I think I was kind of off to the side whenever he was saying that. But nah, I mean, that's good. Because if you think about it, man, I'm grateful to be saved now. But there was a time where I was those people.
Yeah.
And there's times now where I still am those people.
Yeah.
You know, just do stupid stuff or say stupid stuff. And but yeah, man, just grateful to the Lord. And nobody's more or less deserving of him and his love than I am, or anybody else for that matter.
Yeah.
Man.
So, but yeah, man, the trip was amazing. I can't really put into words. Like, I would love to just be able to advertise it to people and be like, you should come next year. But it's like, to really get the full grasp of it, I mean, you just got to be there.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Because even when we talked to you guys about your trip last year, you know, it sounded great.
Yeah.
But to actually get to experience it this year, I mean, dude, insane.
And I know this is a bold claim to make. It's a very bold claim to make. It might be the best mission trip I've ever been on.
Yeah, I'll say that.
I've been on 3 trips overseas. I think that this probably was the best trip that I've ever been on. Just the authenticity of the people that we served with, and just to be able to put their own pride aside, humble themselves, and like Tyler said, just kind of have this wake-up moment where it's like, I'm no better than they are.
Yeah.
I'm not. Like, God saved me out of the same pit that they're in, and just, it was absolutely incredible, absolutely eye-opening. I think most mission trips are. You know, you go on a mission trip and a lot of people say, like, I feel like I was changed more than the people I talked to, and I think that's so true.
Yeah.
And I would encourage you, you know, if you're listening to this podcast and you hear what we're saying and you're like, oh, that sounds like a good mission trip, I challenge you right now, when we have sign up to go next year, because we're going back. We're absolutely
without a
going back.
question, yeah.
That's not a spoiler. That's already been set in stone.
Yeah.
We're going back to Atlanta to serve with the Dream Center. When we go back, be one of the first people to sign up. You know, if you still don't know what we're talking about, and if you're still curious, don't let curiosity stop you from going. Like, please go. Please get to participate in what we saw and what we participated in.
Yep.
Don't let the uncomfortable feeling that you feel stop you, because I feel like in anything, if we're going to grow in our spiritual walk, we're going to grow anything, it's going to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if we're going to stay comfortable, you're just going to stay the same, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but you're going to be safe. The Spirit's going to be there to give you the confidence you need, the wisdom, the words you need, the boldness you need. And I really felt that going on the train. Me and Alan, we were on the train together with some students, and I was like, he was like, "You nervous?" I was like, "Yeah." I've never I've never really gone up to people, and I feel bad about saying that. Going up, hey, you're heard about Jesus, you know, or can I pray for you? Just a random person. I was like, yeah, I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm gonna say. But it was like the second I stepped on the train, I felt comfortable. I felt the Spirit near. I felt like He had given me the wisdom, and it was just like. All that to say, don't let the uncomfortable feeling that you're going to face, there's no way around it, stop you.
Yeah.
It's going to be life-changing. You're going to have a new perspective on people. You're going to have a new perspective on how severe it is to spread the gospel. And so, yeah, that's my little 2 bits about it.
Yeah, and I would just like to add, don't let the financial aspect of it stop you either.
Yeah.
I think that probably stops a lot of people. And look, if you're listening to this or watching this and you're like, you know, I'd love to go, but I just don't really know about the money, that's why we have churches that give. I mean, there are churches all around this area, our church, I'm sure Mount Vernon. Yeah. I mean, I don't think any church would allow you to miss out on this opportunity or an opportunity to go and share the gospel with people over a couple $100s, you know. Like, people give towards that, so people are very generous. So don't be afraid to ask for help at all. I just say that because I know I've been there where we didn't really have the finances, but I also didn't want to ask for help, and people just come through. And so just wanted to share that.
One more thing, because this is, I feel like we're all hitting on areas that affect us. Time. My big deal is time. Like, I've been going a lot this summer, and I think it could have been easy to be like, oh man, I just need time to just set aside for this or that, or I've got camp this week, or I've got this or this or this. Let me just tell you, when those dates hit, clear those off your calendar. Like, absolutely, I promise you. I don't know that if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that 5 days in Atlanta could change my life. 5 days in Atlanta can change your life. And it's not just because of Atlanta. It's not just because of what we do. It's because the work and the move of God, the move of his people, the move of his church to go out to people who need it the most. I promise you, you will have no regrets.
Amen.
Absolutely none.
Dude, can I touch it? Like, I think I heard a quote about time one time, and it was like so convincing. It's like, we don't. I'm about to butcher this, bro. It's going like every time. Like that's why I preach with notes.
That's right. Let's try.
Let's try it. Here we go. All right, here we go. It was like we never don't have time. It's just that it's what you prioritize or something like that. Yeah. And it was just like, whew, like sometimes I'm like, whether it's the simplest things, I don't have time to really pray. Or are you prioritizing it? I don't have time to read my Bible. Or are you prioritizing it? I don't have time to love people. Well, are you really trying to love people? But it's just like, whoo, man, that quote got me. And but yeah,
you gotta do what you want to.
Yeah,
you make time for what you want.
That's right.
You make time for what's important.
Yeah. Nobody makes me watch 7 straight episodes of Stranger Things. I just choose to.
Yeah,
you know?
Do it.
I'm calling myself out.
Did you watch 7 straight?
Maybe not, but it was like 4 and 3, very close together.
Yes.
If not, it was a lot. I'm kind of embarrassed talking about it now.
All right, yeah.
But I'm like, dude, if I start something, I want to see how it ends. You know, and if I have the time, I'm gonna. And I just sound really. Can we edit this out?
you know we can.
No, I'm just playing. But.
Ooh, that's me with Madden, dude.
Samples.
I go crazy at Madden. Y'all know that?
Bro.
I'm like,
I can see it.
I'm a legend at Madden. Like, it's hard to beat me. Like, so anyone watching this, if you've still watching, like, if you want to play me in Madden, good luck. That's all I gotta say.
Let's have a Madden tournament.
Let me just tell you, my man Tyler's been so humble this whole time, and then we hit Madden, he's like, "I'll murder you. I'll kill you dead." Hey, you listening to me?
Let me tell you something.
Your whole career. You hear me? Like, he just ended it. Absolutely ended it.
Man.
That shot might look so jank, but
it can look real cool. You never know.
I think it's gonna look terrible. I'm just being honest.
Before we go though, does anybody have any like funny stories they want to share about the mission trip? Because I have one.
I know what yours is.
What?
Is it Tyler and Allen? It's Tyler and Allen.
Oh my gosh, that's dude, Tyler and Allen, that cracked me up. I
probably have a few with young John and young Mason.
John and Mason.
Poor McKinley broke her ankle like the first day of us being there.
What about John wrestling that?
What is the deal with breaking ankles?
Homeless man.
Oh, no, okay, so Hagen made the comment, which is false, about John wrestling a homeless man. That never happened.
My bad.
That never happened, but let me just say.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Young, Lil John, Big John, John, from the Lightroom at Mount Vernon.
Shout out, John.
Shout out to Big John. He had a habit, so the kid's all of about 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
He's all of about maybe 5'8".
Yeah.
Probably a soft 100 pounds. Like, my man's out there. There was not a single time where I wouldn't look up and John wouldn't be wrestling like a 6'3", 250-pound grown man on the floor. And let me tell you, you want to say, "Oh, so John's good at fighting?" No, he never was. He was most of the time getting like absolutely choked out by a grown man, like an MMA fighter. And John's like, "I'm about to turn around." We're like, "No, you're not. You're turning blue. You're just turning blue."
That man had some drive, though. He was determined.
Let me tell you,
he was gonna get one.
Yeah. He wasn't gonna quit, and I think that's what terrified us all. Is we're like, "John, you gotta stop, man." And the comment I made is that we would go into these communities full of homeless people. I said, and it would be nothing for us to turn around and look, and John's wrestling like this homeless man in this tent, just because John's like, just
he would too. I would put him past
rambunctious kid.
You would just talk to him, and next thing you know, he's got you wrapped up, and you're like, "Bro, all right, man, like, we're about to go right here."
I had a moment with John though that I'm telling everybody about when I get home. I'm like, there's this kid who's just this little like, reminds me of my own younger brother. He would come up and he's just this tough little kid, and he's just doesn't take no crap from nobody. But on our last day, I came up, and our last day was so emotional. I mean, it was like, if you've seen Stranger Things Season 3, last episode, where they're all like hugging and crying goodbye, that's exactly how we were leaving Atlanta. And I wasn't leaving John forever. I could see John probably like next week or something.
Yeah.
But I was like, John, man, I want to be real with you. I love you, and I appreciate you coming on this trip. I appreciate getting to know you more. We hugged, and he started laughing into my chest. I was like, John, you laughing? And he was like, no. I was like, what is going on? This kid's crying on me. Made me so sad and so emotional. But anyways, that's my John story.
John was hilarious.
Funny story. I was gonna say John wrestling everyone, literally everyone. But me and Hagen kind of had an inside joke the whole week.
Oh yeah, the waters.
This man, he had a water everywhere he went. So the church we were at provided us with water, and so we would go out on these outreach missions, and we'd be at the homeless shelter, wherever we would be at, right? And it'd be hot. It's Atlanta. It's like here. It's like it is in the South, in Mississippi, and we would be there, and I'd be like, and I see Hagen over there with his water,
Sipping.
over there with the bougie water over there drinking, and I'm like, bro, where'd you get that water from? I got it from the church. So anyway, the days kind of went on and on. Where'd you get that water from? The church.
Mm-hmm.
It was just funny.
Gotta
But
stay
yeah, if you need a
hydrated, man.
water, Hagen is the man to go to.
I asked Josh the other night, I think when we were at Journey, when he was speaking, he had a water or something. I was like, hey man, where'd you get that water? He was like, what? I was like, you had to be there. Me and Tyler thing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Hagen has taught me the importance of having a bottle of water on you, to the point like where we go do social events, I'll have a half-empty water bottle with me, and I'll leave with a half-empty water bottle on me. It's what we call our anxiety water bottle.
That's right, son.
There's something. No, look. Let me tell you. There's something about rolling up to a room full of 100 people with a water bottle in your hand that all of a sudden gives you the confidence to take on like all 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether we're going to Highlands, if we're going to some conference, if we're pulling up to a together event, best believe we got our anxiety water
Mm-hmm.
bottle on us. And if we don't, we're anxious.
I'm like
Yeah.
that with coffee though. Like if I have
Really?
a sip of coffee, I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like the smartest guy in the room. Come at me.
Yeah,
I think it's just like just having something in your hand, and if you can always take a drink of it and kind of have a second to process what your next move is going to be.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's a tactical move.
Yeah.
Strategic.
Yeah.
Don't give away all your secrets.
Yeah.
Hey,
We'll give
hey,
them
I'm trying to
all
tell.
away.
Trying to
We're
help people
educating
out.
the youth of America.
That's right.
Funny
Now let me
story.
hear it. 'Cause
Okay,
this is
so-
one of my favorite stories.
This is our first night. I think it was first. It was our second
second
night.
night.
Second night.
It is second night. Yeah.
And so Alan always went to bed early. And
Can we give a brief description about our together grandpa, Mr. Allen?
you can give the brief description.
Oh, why'd y'all put this on me? Allen is, me and Hagen got to meet him for the first time, which I'm assuming you've met him.
Yes, I've met him.
Alan's legit.
Yeah, Alan's,
know him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know him.
So Allen got to go with us to this mission trip. Allen is, if you've heard me say it once already, is our together grandpa. Officially, he's our first together grandpa. So there's a lot of people he has to meet. But Allen, you know, all of us are some young buck, borderline just out of our teenage years, and Allen is just a little bit older. But let me tell you, that never stopped him from interacting with our students and treating them very well. A lot of people will try to come in that are a little bit older and try to either make the kids their age, which is a lot older, or try to relate to the teenagers, and it just comes off as really cringe. Allen, thank the Lord, did neither one. Brad, don't you raise your hand. That is not you.
I was answering on behalf of my wife. She'd be
Oh,
like,
okay,
that
for-
is you.
For Ashley.
there.
Oh, okay, I see. Allen did neither one of those, and I just hope he knows how much we loved having him
He was awesome.
on the mission trip. And I hope for any event we have for together, my boy Allen is there. Our papaw, our together papaw.
Alan's the man.
Man.
Hey, real quick,
Talk
let
to
me
me.
clarify. I wasn't saying that.
you need to.
That's how Ashley is. I'm saying that's what she would have said about me.
Yeah, you know
Right,
she's gonna
right,
wash
right,
his back.
right.
She gonna be
I'm
like,
just, I don't know. Probably so, because it's taken off, but I just wanted to clear the air.
yeah, we're up to like
I was
200,000
speaking
subs now.
for myself that I try to relate, and it's cringe. That's me. That's what she would have said about me. All right.
Still scared of her, bro.
Tell the story.
Shout out to Ashley. Shout out to Brad.
Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to the Smiths.
But yeah, so it's second night there. Alan's in bed at like 9:30. And of course, you know, we all stay up late doing Words of Life and just hanging out and stuff. So we get in there. I mean, I don't know. It's probably like midnight at this point. Maybe later.
Maybe.
I can't remember. But Tyler's air mattress needed to be aired up. And so it's just Alan in the room sleeping. And he's like, I'm in there, Tyler's in there. He's like, bro, I need to air my air mattress. I'm like, this is a terrible time for that to be happening. He's like, should I do it? I said, well, you know, you either do it now or you wake up on the ground in the morning. I don't really know. So this man's like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And he plugs it up, and all of a sudden I just hear through the whole room, and then all of a sudden I just hear Tyler kind of be like, I'm so sorry. He looked over at Alan. Alan had like woke up. He was like, come on, man.
Yeah, no, it made me feel so bad, bro.
So,
Golly.
Alan, did he say something to you?
Yeah, so the way he was laying down, he was facing me if he were to open his
Oh,
eyes.
no.
he went, come on, man. I was like, crap. I was like, I'm sorry.
Me and Tyler were cracking up the whole time.
But before I got it started, I went, turned it off right there. I was like, that's loud.
Kind of got started to get a feel of what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
You know, Noah, one of the kids from the Dream Center, blew up his air mattress by mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
The rest of us did it with the machine. This man did
Right.
it with his mouth.
so
Got
Tyler
some
could have done
lungs.
that.
Really
Yeah,
insane.
but I
But then
wasn't.
passed out for
Yeah.
Blow up a
day.
balloon. So
I can't either.
Oh, okay.
I struggle. But
so-
Well, Alan, don't go to bed at 9. I
yeah.
guess.
I will say, though,
Yeah.
he probably went to bed at 9 where we were knocking out at probably 2.
Honestly,
Most
he may have been on to
mornings-
something.
No
'cause-
wonder y'all so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2 o'clock, and then we'd have to get up at 8 the next morning.
Good gracious.
Good
Just
times,
roll.
though.
I'm
Good
gonna have to
times.
roll
Great
with
times.
Alan.
Yeah, Alan.
be like,
Alan
Come
knew-
on, Tyler. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, gosh. Man, this has been a great episode. This might have been the longest one we've had, but, dude, I've enjoyed having you on.
Man, thank y'all
for coming
so
on.
much. I've enjoyed it.
Thanks for coming on and being a part of it, dude.
Yeah, man.
If you're watching this or listening, Spotify, YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Keep up with all Together related stuff. We'll have an episode out every month. And with that, we are out.
Shout out to Brad.
Shout out to Brad.
Shout out to Brad.
Woo.